and welcome to College Sport Check Football, presented by Long Island's Community Radio. Now for the College Sport Check Football schedule for week number 6. So we're going to get right into it. All right, so everybody knows what we do. So we do the schedule for the top 25, and then on Sundays, we do the scores for all the games. So keep it nice and simple and sweet. So we'll start with on Friday. We have the Clemson Tigers and the Boston College Eagles. That game Friday at 7:30. It's going to be on ESPN. There's actually 2 games for Friday in the top 25. No, Clemson ranked number 3, just so everybody knows about that, and we'll get into the standings in a moment. And number 19, Boise State Broncos. They're taking on New Mexico, the Lobos. That's going to be at 9 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network. And then we get to Saturday, and here is the Saturday schedule, starting with the 12 noon games. 2 games set for 12 o'clock. It's going to be the LSU Tigers and number 18 Florida Gators, 12 p.m. on ESPN. And the big one, the Red River rivalry. That's going to be number 20 Oklahoma, the Sooners, taking on the Texas Longhorns, and that's going to be on FS1. And that brings us to the 3 o'clock games. 1 game actually for 3 o'clock. That's going to be number 6 Houston taking on the Navy Cougars and the Midshipmen. 3 p.m. on the CBS Sports Network. 3:30, 3 games for 3:30. It's going to be the Indiana Hoosiers and number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes on ESPN. Tennessee and Texas, number 9 Tennessee and number 8 Texas. Texas A&M. That's going to be on CBS. And then we have number 25 Virginia Tech taking on number 17 the North Carolina Tar Heels. The Hokies and the Tar Heels. That's going to be on ABC. And those are the 3:30 games. So 4 o'clock on Saturday, it's going to be number 21, the Colorado and USC, the Buffaloes and the Trojans on the Pac-12 network. And then at 7 o'clock, 2 games set for 7 o'clock on Saturday. Okay, it's going to be number 1, Alabama Crimson Tide, and they're taking on number 16, Arkansas, the Razorbacks. That's going to be on ESPN. And then number 4, Michigan taking on Rutgers, 7 p.m. on ESPN2. That's going to be interesting right there. Let's take a look at what's going on at 7:30. We have number 5, Washington, taking on Oregon, the Huskies and the Ducks. That's going to be on Fox. And then we have a little Sunshine State showdown at 8 o'clock. That's going to be number 23, Florida State, and number 10, Miami of Florida, the Seminoles and the Hurricanes, 8 o'clock on ABC. At 10 o'clock, it's going to be Arizona taking on number 24, Utah on FS1. And then at 10:30, it's going to be Washington State taking on number 15, Stanford. Again, that's at 10:30 on ESPN. All right, so let's take a look at the team rankings, top 25. And we got a lot of jumpers and divers today. First, we'll go down the list, and then we'll go over the jumpers and divers. Okay, first place still is Alabama at 5-0. Ohio State in second. Clemson third. Fourth, it's Michigan. Washington in fifth. So Alabama 5-0. Ohio State 4-0, Clemson, Michigan, Washington 5-0, and then we also have Houston in 6th place. They're also 5-0. Louisville in 7th, Texas A&M in 8th place, Tennessee in 9th, Miami, Florida in 10th. Houston is 5-0, Louisville 4-1, Texas A&M 5-0, 5-0 for Tennessee, and 4-0 for Miami. In 11th place is going to be the Wisconsin, 12th Nebraska, 13th Baylor, Ole Miss in 14th, and Stanford in 15th. Wisconsin 4-1, Nebraska 5-0, Baylor 5-0, Ole Miss 3-2, Stanford 3-1. Arkansas sits in 16th place. 17th, it's North Carolina, Florida in 18th. Arkansas, North Carolina, Florida 4-1. Boise State in 19th place at 4-0. Oklahoma in 20th at 2-2. 21st is going to be Colorado. West Virginia in 22nd, 23rd, Florida State, 24th, Utah, 25th, it's Virginia Tech, Colorado 4-1, West Virginia 4-0, Florida State 3-2, Utah 4-1, and Virginia Tech 3-1. Now for the College Sport Check Football jumpers and divers, just going over the big jumpers and the big divers. Clemson climbed from 5th to 3rd. A big one here would be Washington, which last week was down in 10th place. They climbed up to 5th. Let's see, we got Texas A&M 9th up to 8th. Tennessee from 11th up to 9th. And here's one, Miami, Florida climbed from 14th up to 10th. Nebraska climbs from 15th up to 12th. Ole Miss from 16th up to 14th. And here's a whole bunch of big ones right here. Arkansas, which you mentioned, to 16th place. Last week they were down in 20th place. North Carolina in 32nd. They climbed up to 17th. Florida climbs from 23rd to 18th. Boise State from 24th to 19th. Oklahoma from 27th up to 20th. And then we have Colorado, who climbed from 31st place up to 21st. West Virginia from 29th to 22nd. And another big one, Virginia Tech, who climbed up from 30th up to 25th. So just got right in there in that top 25. The big divers, I would say, would be Louisville, that dropped from 3rd down to 7th. Wisconsin drops from 8th down to 11th. Stanford from 7th down to 15th. Florida State from 12th down to 23rd. And then we have Utah, which was in 18th last week, and they dropped down to 24th. Now, schools that dropped out of the top 25 this week: TCU, San Diego State, Michigan State, and Texas. Teams receiving votes: Western Michigan, UCLA, LSU, Auburn, North Dakota State, Georgia, Oklahoma State, TCU, Maryland, Air Force, San Diego State, Michigan State, South Florida, Arizona State, Indiana, California, and Texas. All right, now college basketball fans, here at Community Radio, we do podcasts, right? Everybody knows what a podcast is by now. Okay? It's a radio show, on-demand radio. That's what we do all day long. So we're getting down to a little bit of a downtime now, but College Sport Check football is here. College Sport Check basketball is here. We're gonna be full force, probably 7 days a week, getting all the scores and everybody. And college football will be here. And so I went looking, and I found the schedule. Now, there's no times and channels yet, but I got a list of teams that will be playing. So, college basketball fans, college basketball starts on November the 11th. That is a Friday, and we're scheduled to do College Sport Check basketball starting on the 10th, which is Thursday, and then we'll just bust through this fall and winter as we always do. So here's just a rundown of the games that are set up for November 11th. We have Brown and Cincy, Georgia and Clemson, Tennessee Tech and Georgia Tech, Western Carolina, Miami, Florida, Georgia Southern, North Carolina State, Eastern Michigan and Pittsburgh, Colgate and Syracuse, Morgan State, Houston, Coastal Carolina, Alabama, Illinois, Springfield and Bradley, Southern Utah and Valparaiso, Alabama, Pine Bush, Alabama, Birmingham, Ball State, St. Louis, the Billikens. We have Mount St. Mary's, West Virginia, Incarnate Word in Texas, Marist Duke, Lafayette and Villanova, Marquette and Vanderbilt, and I like Marquette basketball. Nichols, Boston College, Wayne and Connecticut, Evansville and Louisville, Virginia and UNC Greensboro, Florida A&M, South Florida, LaSalle and Temple, Jacksonville and Tulsa. Now that's just the Friday game, so I'm not, but just that everybody know. So college basketball will be here. The 2016-2017 college basketball season tips off on November 11th, and College Sport Check basketball tips off on November 10th. So we'll do that, and good stuff. Probably midday, I'm thinking, to get all the scores in, and then probably do one show just for the scores, because if you know, college basketball has tons of scores, and then then we'll do one for the schedule too. So we'll do 2 shows probably. But anyway, November 10th is the start date for that. Good stuff. Right, so that's going to do it for today. So thank you for tuning in. This is College Sport Check football. Scores on Sunday morning. Podcast post time at 10:45. So we've got this little thing that I'm messing around with called podcast post times. What is that? You might be asking. Well, okay. Well, podcast post time is the time in which the podcast is made available for on-demand listening. So I guess it's a little time. Usually you get on there like a little 10 minutes before, and then so anytime after that date and time, podcast is available for on-demand listening. And that's going to do it for today. So thank you for tuning in. This is Manny A, and this is College Sport Check, Community Radio, LI.com, and click on the College Sport Check button.